Let's do it, everyone. Welcome, Warrior. This is your Saturday Night Live with the Warriors. End of week. Can you believe what has been going on in the past couple of days? I can't keep up with it, and that is saying a lot. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me this evening. Now let's check in. First of all, I always like to make sure technically we're doing well. 5x5s, please. Let's see. Everybody can hear me. Let's see what's going on. I'll wait till you filter in. I really want to focus and spend time this evening with some border talk. So come on, 5x5, check in. Check in. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. I'm going to go ahead and start talking. There we go. Hillbilly says 5x5. That is good enough for me. Welcome, Hillbilly. I called this evening, critical and ignored by the media. And I'm telling you something. Stephen Miller is my hero. I don't really ever say things like that. Besides my husband, who's my biggest hero. Lionel Nation's here, 5x5. Sean's here. Hello, everybody. Stephen Miller, a deputy chief of staff for President Trump. It was music to my ears, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit. The border, everybody, is now closed. It is something that Stephen Miller and counsel to President Trump all of last year, the last several years. I remember several months ago, he would go on television. He would go mainstream, very brave, mainstream news, mainstream media. He would go on CNN. I think he even went on MSDNC, and he would talk about what we talk about on the Warriors, that the open borders, the biggest criminal human trafficking operation in the world. And of course, if you saw any of this, they would laugh at him. They would call him a conspiracy theorist. I even looked, he was doing interviews about this last August and September. So that's really just a couple of short months ago. And people were calling him crazy. We have known that these open borders indeed has been the biggest human trafficking. And I like to call it slavery, everybody. Remember, slavery, the enslavement of people, of children, is much more descriptive. We have known this, and nobody did anything from Mayorkas to Biden to Harris. That bad national nightmare is over, As Stephen Miller pointed out, the sex trafficking, the labor trafficking, the human smuggling, all of that is done. It is over. And mainstream media would never report. And I'm throwing in there, yes, we even had Fox News, we had Newsmax, we had everybody, touching on the border, talking, but they didn't really get into it, right? They didn't explain it enough. It is now done. It is now done. Catherine's joining us. Cord's here. Fred's here. I want to also point out something, about the border. There's a lot of work to be done. What has happened in the last few days has been absolutely phenomenal. Remember, all of this was in the works well before President Trump took over. The plans were being laid because, as President Trump promised, day one, and he is keeping these promises. I want all of us to be very, very careful, though. I'm already seeing a lot of people jumping on. X amount of children are being saved already. They've been rescued. They've been this, they've been that. We do know in excess of 500,000 children, unaccompanied minors, illegal alien children, are in this country. It is much higher. I am sure the numbers are never what we know about. Hi, Leslie. Welcome. That being said, just don't repeat things. I'm already seeing numbers put out of children rescued. Number one goal of border czar Tom Homan and his team and Border Patrol and the goal of President Trump giving all of these powers to FBI and DEA and local law enforcement coming together. And they wanted this. All of these, they all wanted to work on this, and they were not allowed under the Biden-Harris administration. I like to call it the Biden-Harris administration because, after all, that's what they call themselves. So their goal right now is, everybody should understand, weeding out, and they already know, and they've already gotten rid of in excess of 500 of the most horrible illegal alien criminals in our nation. And that is their goal right now, to get rid of the in excess of 700,000 of the worst of the worst. And as President Trump and Stephen Miller have pointed out, these are members of Trinidad Aragua. These are the prisons emptied out. These are the mental hospitals, psychiatric wards, just flowed into our country. And how dare Biden, Harris, and all of those people, and I'm going to start just calling them out. Why not? What they did to all of these children and allowed it. Can you imagine? And now, fast forward, we have Americans fighting to keep these criminals in our country. Well, listen, they have not a leg to stand on, because the American public has spoken. They want President Trump. They want this administration. They don't want these criminals in our country. And so good luck to them. It's not going to work. Now, that being said, we have to remain vigilant. We have to be supportive. It's going to be a tough road ahead, but things are moving along. And I applaud all of you for being part of this, for voting, for changing everything up, because I can't imagine the alternative. Those precious children. We do know about the hundreds of thousands of kids. But again, I want to mention, do not jump to retweeting or re-Facebooking or whatever it's called, re-Xing. X amount were rescued, saved. First of all, where are we putting all the children? That's a whole nother issue of, in these foster care homes and these encampments, perhaps, who will be taking care of them, so let's leave that for a minute and focus on Tom Homan and his group are weeding out law enforcement, all of the worst of the worst. They're getting rid of them with our military. And let us applaud them for being deployed and for helping with all of this. Here's the thing. As far as the children go, I want everybody to understand the impact of the border on our American children. First of all, they are watching and hearing all of this. They are seeing things on their devices. When I tell you kids 9 to 17 have access to 4 devices, phones, Chromebooks, laptops, gaming, they're hearing, they're seeing. Let you be the leader. Let you talk to them. Let you explain what's going on and reassure them they're safe. And even the teens that give us a tough time, they just want to be spoken to. We do a lot of work. The bottom line is that's what they want. I'm getting my husband's globe flew out at me as I reach for this tissue. I get very passionate about this because people have never understood the impact of the open border, not only on all of these poor children, these unaccompanied minors that came over, who, when they got here, the criminal cartels that ran a beautiful business with colored bracelets on the border, with the app on the border, these children were further enslaved. Even their naive parents or family members who sent them here with good intentions of thinking they're giving them a better life, these children are further enslaved. It is forced servitude. It is debt bondage. They still had to pay the cartels. That goes for all the people. Did you know that? Because our sources, our boots on the ground have told me all along, this was the first time in the last several years they saw this type of thing where people coming here still were forced to pay off the cartel. So it's an unending, you're stuck for the rest of your life. It is human trafficking, human slavery, and Biden-Harris administration allowed it. I don't want to even see her. I digress here, everybody, but I am very angry about this right now. seeing her with that husband in California with her plastic shopping bag buying a thing of spice. They walk out with 2 bags of food. Don't want to see it. Done, over, gone, right? So let's focus on the good. Let me not go in that direction. And let us just keep supporting President Trump and the administration and everybody working with him. They are doing a wonderful job. Thank you, Edie, for reminding everybody. Yes, hit the like button. And also, please make sure you're subscribed. We really want to hit, I know it might sound boring to you, but we want to hit that 10,000 subscriber mark, and we're almost there because we want the warriors in that new super highway on YouTube, where we will have more videos in rotation. You know, we put out videos every day, little nuggets I've been putting out every day, little 5-10 minute videos. It is Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month. And how wonderful for all of this, for the borders to finally be closed. How wonderful that we just had the Laken Riley Act, passed, where these criminals who've had, here, I'm in the middle of New York City, where they've had 10, 15, 20, we don't even know because media doesn't even tell us, or these sanctuary cities don't even tell us. Shoplifting, larceny, attacking people, and they just never went to jail or anything. And what happens? They end up unliving somebody. Now, I say this because, as you know, we have algorithms here on YouTube, but I think you can follow my drift, everybody. And so let's just be supportive. Do not spread information unless you know it's really, really true. This is a very delicate operation with children. Something you should also remember, this thing with the children is so complicit. It is so big, right? The thing is, we never talk about this. A lot of these children have been sold by their own families. Yes, there were families that meant well. They were naive. They wanted to get their children out of their country. So they wanted them to come here. They even knew the horrors along the way of traveling unaccompanied, and they still sent them. I don't know if I could never do that, but that's just me. Putting girls on birth control pills, warning girls, this is going to happen to you. Certain trees on the border with girls and women, their underwear, okay? Again, I'm skirting around issues, everybody, because of algorithms. We have a new member, MP. Thank you very much. We need all the members we can get. Thank you so much. It's very supportive of our education programs we do. And you know our mission at the Warriors is education, using the media as a tool to spread awareness. And also, always we support survivors. So thank you, MP. Now, Leslie, it's a celebration. Borders closed. I can't really call it a celebration. It is what should be done, right? Our borders should be closed. I don't want to celebrate anything. We want to remain warriors, and we just want to keep working. What has been done in this past week by the Trump administration, by President Trump, Melania Trump, is absolutely, I got to pinch myself, what they have done in this past week, less than a week, actually. So let's all remain calm, and let's all remember this border is a tremendous operation. I just do not understand. I don't understand. I'm a Catholic, so I can talk about this. I don't understand this Pope. I don't understand a guy living with all those riches behind, what is it, 20, 30, 40-foot walls at the Vatican, with all this security, all the help, the way he lives. I'm reminding everybody again, I'm a Catholic. I am a product of Catholic schools. I went to church with my family every Sunday. Speaking about what we're doing at our borders, when this has been an invasion. I have spoken with Tom Homan in the past. I have interviewed Tom Homan. I have spoken alongside Tom Homan, Jason Jones, Derek Maltz, you name it, Frank Tarantino, DEA, and everybody calls this an invasion on our soil, what has been going on. An invasion on our soil. a well-planned invasion. It was allowed to happen. So why is this Pope weighing in? You know, why doesn't he mind his own business? And why doesn't he take care of the Catholic Church? Remember, the Catholic Church is where I was on Christmas Day when a thief tried to steal my pocketbook. And they were concerned for the thief. They weren't concerned for me. Well, that's another program, everybody. Jeez. So, people have to really know what's going on. But I'm really not happy. I usually don't talk about the Pope at all because, you know, he has spoken out about human trafficking. Remember, I'm calling it slavery. That bishop the other day, what are these people even talking about? What about their thoughts about these 500,000 unaccompanied minors that have been sex and labor trafficked, forced servitude, forced begging? Yes, we have that in our country as well, because countries they come from, these children, that's what they routinely do. I have seen children in the middle of New York City, usually with an adult, holding signs under, just sitting on sidewalks, no blankets or anything, dirty, you know, begging, selling water bottles, begging for money. West Side Highway by us, over by the FDR Drive. Not seeing them lately. Out in the middle of the highway, women would have babies tied to their backs, the front of them, jumping out. Anytime there's a red light, a stop in traffic, trying to sell fruit, water bottles. What about these? I guarantee you they were forced into it by a trafficker, a cartel member. You know, the cartels have worked hand in hand with MS-13, which has been in New York, especially Long Island, and throughout, you know, the cartels have been working in all 50 states. All 50 states. So when I say I started talking about the effect of all this on our kids, I just want to finish up. There's some comments about the Pope. Let's see what everybody's saying. The Pope has stated nothing about that horrible oppression. Agree, the Pope, right, Tammy is saying that. Right, exactly. What about those 500,000? Where's his concern for them? And where's his concern for these horrendous monsters, these cartel members who pay our children? Look, everybody, let's be real. Money talks. Kids want to make money, right? They're not going to stand in a supermarket or a drugstore chain or be a waiter or waitress if they can make an easy $500. And they always think they know. You know what it is. Remember when you were a teenager? You know the most. You know the best. You're not going to get caught, whatever. The cartels have targeted our American children to deal their dirty drugs and also to traffic their peers. And this has been going on in all 50 states. Wake up, America, in our middle and high schools. Middle school is what these days? 6th, 7th, 8th grade? And then high school, trafficking their peers. Your child may be sleeping at home at night. After school, they are trafficked. They are sold to somebody. It is so prevalent. It is so common. I'm going to say it again. Wake up, everybody. So all of this border, open borders, invasion on our land. And remember, when we talk about the border, we always think of usually Texas, Arizona. You don't think of, well, San Diego's been in the news somewhat in the last year. That is a main focal point. That was the number one in the last year for all of this invasion. You don't think of the Canadian border with New York State. You know what? It is true. Our entire country is a border state. They're coming by the sea, the land. It is done. It is over. It is closed. And I commend to you, look for Stephen Miller and what he said. It is done. The smuggling, the trafficking, all of it. Now, the kids. Talk to your kids about it, age appropriate. Again, they're hearing and seeing things on their own or being told things. Let you be the leader. Reassure them they're safe. But this Pope, I got to go back to that. Criticizing? Where is the protection of these children? Well, I guess go back to the history of the Catholic Church. There's no protection for children. Let's leave it at that. Frederick, and why is it so easy and quick? There's barely any wait time or effort needed from what I have heard from friends and parents of friends. Frederick also says, where do they get so many people with children just hand over? How can adoption businesses that promote this possibly be legal? Frederick, the whole thing is a criminal cabal. Remember, it is the number one crime, certainly in America, probably around the globe, but I always focus on America, right? The trafficking, the enslavement of children of all people. It makes more money. It is easier than trafficking drugs. The drugs also, the problem with, in speaking with the DEA, it's chemicals now. They're transporting chemicals, cheap chemicals that are brought over. So it's no longer, a lot of cocaine. I mean, it's still happening and all that. But the problem is all these horrible chemicals. They get the chemicals here and then they press them into these pills. So, fentanyl. One pill kills. I am inundated. I am part of a group called Lost Voices of Fentanyl. It is the most heartbreaking thing every day. For instance, today I saw a posting. I am new to this group. My 32-year-old son is no more. Another one. Here is a picture of my daughter. She was 14. Again, I'm leaving out certain words. I want to remind you about algorithms here. You know where I'm going with this. It is the most heartbreaking thing to see this on a daily basis over and over again. These are parents that do not, and family members, get over any of this. And we allowed this invasion, right? We allowed these chemicals. We allowed this fentanyl. Leading cause of being unlived, as I skirt around algorithms again, everybody, 18 to 45 is the fentanyl. And it is not an overdose. It is a poisoning, an intentional poisoning of our American youth, of our American people. That is an invasion. And that was part of all of this on the border. So it is very multi-layered, multi-tiered. And that is why we need all of the organizations, FBI, DEA, military, everybody coming together, Border Patrol, working on this. Let us commend them for everything they're doing. It's just the beginning. But we cannot allow our American kids. We, right now, have 4 years. I constantly say to my husband, there's no celebration right now, everybody. There's hard work. There's dedication. There's staying in our lanes. We need, during this time, it's about 4 years from now. We must stay on this track. We can never go back, right? It can't be. I mean, the American people have spoken. They don't want what was. There's a part of me, as horrible as all of that was, as horrible, we had to go through that to get to where we are today. I know that sounds a little crazy, but this is where we are. I believe this is the time that we can take our kids, our youth, make them, our American kids, the superstars, our future adults, our future leaders. We need to empower them. We need to engage them. We need to listen. Number one complaint I hear, not listened to, not listened to, not listened to. So what do? They go on their device and start talking to a stranger who has all this sympathy and empathy. And that is why when it's 1 in 4, different studies, they say 1 in 5, 1 in 4. Let's go with 1 in 4. Children are approached online with inappropriate dialogue and images. That's 25%. And even if it's 1 in 5, it's 20%. Remember, it's always higher than any of these studies. Most things with all of this go unreported. So if it's 1 in 4 and 42% attempt to go out and meet a stranger, that's almost half. What is going on here? We have to do better. We have to do better. I was happy to see that the Ramsey, New Jersey school system, their high school, enacted those yonder pouches, which kind of they put the phone in, it's closed, it's locked down during the school day. The kids can focus on learning. The teachers like it much better. They said their first week went along great. Kids reported being happy. Teachers reported being happy. Parents were happy because parents are the one doing the pushback. They want kids to be available to them at all times, which I understand in the world we live in. But the phone is still with them. It's in the pouch. And then they have designated stations where you go and you can unlock the pouch. So should something happen, you do have access to your phone. But they said it went along so well in the first week, so smoothly. Nobody could have anticipated that. And for kids, high school kids, to say we were happy. We laughed at lunchtime. We talked. We went outside. I mean, this is what we have to get back to and encourage. Susan's here. Most people must live through pain to wake up. Correct. Sean says, I moved to Texas from UK. I met several women who were exploited in pseudo-Christian-like cults. Sean, women, girls, men, boys are exploited not only through, I have to say, in the work we do. It is happening all over. You see the headlines. I'm inundated every day with press releases, with organizations, with survivors. In the news, it's habituated. We're becoming habituated. That is my fear, because it's becoming so normalized, this sexualization of children, of all people, right? That we just become numb and we shut our eyes. We cannot do it. We cannot do it. We have to. I'm telling you, this is the time in America. I have never in my life been like this, okay? We must become these warriors. We have 4 years. President Trump and the administration are on the right track. We must follow along in our homes and communities and do everything we can right now, as hard as it is, as overwhelmed as we are, and keep building. We cannot allow what went on. Welcome, Mindy is here. In Pauling, New York, schools, classrooms, 12-year-old girls sitting next to 16-year-old boys or maybe older, unsafe age gaps regardless of nationality. Now, Mindy, I need to know some more information about that. Is that because they're all in the high school? Is the middle school and high school combined? Because there's such a vast difference between a 12-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy, right? Think back. But they have society has sexualized. Society, have sexualized. I don't mean me and you necessarily. I mean America, through the music, through the entertainment, through all of this. Mindy, I'd like to hear more about that, because that is just something we have to be aware of. I don't even know. There used to be middle school years, right? And then high school. Does that even exist, that demo? Somebody weigh in with that right now, kind of thing. So you kind of had that transition period where they did put just 6th, 7th, and 8th grade kids together. And sometimes different schools, because I'm from New Jersey, were 7th, 8th, 9th for middle school. And then it became a 10, 11, 12. But the kids are too sexualized. Here in New York City, I've seen girls lifting their tops up. It's not their fault, though. They've grown up in this bubble. They've grown up, seeing Kardashians the last 20 years, thinking this is the way you get that mansion. This is the way you get that famous boyfriend or something. The kids don't know. It is our jobs to teach them appropriately. And it's not us versus them. And everybody, I'm by no way any kind of expert on any of this. I'm just a warrior. I just got some age now on my side. And you start figuring it out. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of parents, a lot of grandparents, focus groups, right? Families. That's where I get my information. That's where I cull it from. But we have to make an impact in our schools as well. If we have a child or a grandchild, we need to know curriculums. You have every right to ask. Please try to get involved. Be a class mother. Join the board. Go to the board meetings. Just be a presence. We have to know what's going on. And we have to talk to our kids about what's going on. We cannot leave it up to the schools, to the government. None of that. It's not working. It doesn't work. There are precious kids. So let's grab them back. I feel like we have this 4 years right now. Because for me, it's about the next 4 years after President Trump. That's where I go immediately. We got to straighten this out. I'm going to remind when people have been coming up to me, saying things to me, I simply just say the American people have spoken. It's interesting today, I posted a picture of Melania Trump. I did. I really did. Because she actually was wearing a look I do when I go out and into the communities. And I didn't say that, but I'll explain to you. When I go into the communities, especially when it's cold, I wear a knit cap. I wear sunglasses. You don't go into vulnerable communities dressed up, in high heels. And I saw her and her picture, Melania Trump, traveling with the president to North Carolina. Thank goodness for those people have been so forgotten and left behind. If it wasn't for the American public, and also a great big shout out to Samaritan's Purse. First ones, I don't know how they do it, like they're first ones on the scene of disasters. What an incredible job they do, Franklin Graham. They are there helping people. That's why a group like that, I think President Trump mentioned something like this, we should be designating the funds that are given to FEMA. And jump in if anybody heard about this, or correct me, and let him run the programs, that organization that's well-oiled and on the scenes and helping people. But to hear those people heartbreak, just saying, no, nobody's here, nobody's helped us, nobody's tried. And then fast forward to California, people are trying to get on their property. You've got a mayor that says, oh, you can go back. No, the people are sitting right there in front of the president, in front of Karen Bass, in front of Melania Trump. No, you told us 18 months. What do you mean we can go back? We can't go back. It is time. So I posted this picture of Melania Trump. I can't tell you the kind of things people were saying to me. But I have to remember the American people have spoken. That's a bunch of miserable, I don't know what, 10 people left over from the old, Facebook days. The best thing to do is ignore. Remember what I tell you. Do not let people live rent-free in your brain. But bye-bye to them, because no matter where I have gone, people want the borders closed. They don't want this crime. They want their children safe. They want the devices, which we have to talk about next. Let me just check some of the comments. Okay. MP, people in North Carolina look so backwards compared to LA. MP, people look different all over the country. Nobody looks backwards. There's different kinds of Americans. There's city folk, there's country folk, there's mountain folk. People just look different. It's not a big deal. Leslie says Melania dressed down and still look gorgeous. She looks gorgeous. Fred says the glam thug female look. Okay. I don't like the word thug. Let's just say, the warrior's look. Because that's what I actually said. I said she looks like a warrior. And it's a good look, everybody. So we're just going to leave it at that. FEMA has never got good reviews. You know the drill. Yeah, Joseph says that. But you know what? And it's going to be gone, or it's going to be retooled. President Trump has got a tremendous team working around him. I'm so proud of some of those people. Again, if President Trump, this is horrible to think this way a little bit, but I share with you, didn't go through everything the last 4 years, maybe it wouldn't be so strong right now, or we wouldn't have seen that how much we need him, and we need to get this country back on track. Forget back on track. I think the United States of America is going to be bigger and stronger and better than we've ever seen it. It is the time. It is our time. But that being said, I want our children to be part of this partnership. Like, I want them to be the superstars. There's so many smart kids out there. And what do we hear about online, or what you hear about a lot of, I don't want to say bad, because kids can't really be bad. When kids are acting out, and bad, I'll put kind of in quotes, something's wrong. They're calling out. We have to remember that, right? We have to remember that. I know it's not easy when you're working and you're trying to have kids in school. Kids are acting out. You have all you can do to just survive and get through the day. But we've got to stop and take a breath. And you have to understand there's a lot of help out there. Remember, you can always write to me, lynn@lynswarriors.org. I can direct you to organizations in your area, something to help you with. There's a lot of good people out there that want to help. So keep that in mind. You are not alone. You don't have to hide things. You don't have to be embarrassed, okay? There's lots of places you can just call, and for free, they'll give you some suggestions or some resources. Do not be shy. We don't have that luxury in America of being shy or embarrassed about anything, right? Because certainly those crazy ones I'm going to call them that, from the last 4 years, they weren't shy or embarrassed about anything. So let us be these leaders with all of this. I also want to say that Meta just announced, Meta, as you know, is Facebook and Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg and his team, a $65 billion investment in AI, artificial intelligence. That is a little scary to me. 65 billion is a drop in the bucket for what's anticipated. It will be tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. Unleashing of this artificial intelligence. And my concern, and I've spoken to you before about all of this, is that, and again, people are aware in the Trump administration, there are a few pieces of legislation to deal with this. I was just invited to a private group. Let me see how I can phrase this, where we can come together to present things to Congress with some guardrails for kids, or at least the awareness piece, getting the parents involved. It's not good enough we have to always have parents. And I also am always promoting children involved, right? Because they're the ones going through all this. We need to hear what actually a 12-year-old girl is seeing and doing online, right? Because I don't know. You don't know. You're not monitoring the phone all day long. Most parents, guardians aren't monitoring the phones ever at all. So I'm saying we need to get the kids on board to tell us what's happening and share, even when we do go in front of Congress. These focus groups, we have to have more of the kids' involvement, the teens' involvement. I want teens, the teen warriors kind of thing. So I'm very scared about the AI dictating to our youth the way to think. Where is that thinking coming from, that information coming from? That is my concern, right? Frankly, there is still censorship. You know that. I know that. Things are a little better. Certain words I can't say here. Certain things I don't post. I'm very aware of words to use and not use. We should have freedoms to just speak the way it is, especially with this human slavery. It is real. I have to be able to tell you what's going on. You have to be able to talk about it as well. We have to be able to be vigilant at all times. So going back to this border to recap, it is much needed. It is happening. The border is closed. I don't want to hear from that Pope. I don't want to hear from any of these big mouths and mainstream media who, over the past 4 years, when we had Stephen Miller, because I'm a cheerleader for Stephen Miller, and I am so happy he's with President Trump because he's tough. And I'm so happy Tom Homan's there with President Trump because I wouldn't want to get in front of him, get in his way. And I'm so happy for a lot of these other people that I know they are there advising President Trump. and he is listening, and things are happening. The border is closed. The cartels are on notice. That being said, we still have work. The drugs are still here in our communities. The kids are now trafficking. They know about trafficking, this slavery. It's making a buck, right? We have to undo all of this. If you see anything, hear anything, know anything, I urge all of you to call 911 and make a report. We must have a record of everything. If your child at any time, family member, grandchild receives an inappropriate message, image, you must know to contact cybertipline.org. They will take it over for you. You're not going to get in any kind of trouble if you're wrong, do not erase any images or dialogue. We need that. We need that as proof, right? But talk to your kids. You got to talk to them because they're so much smarter than we give them credit for. Let's see what everybody has to say. MP says Zuck's Facebook address scares me. 18, is that it? 18 hacker way? I don't know. I don't know. All I know about Mark Zuckerberg, I think I would probably be doing the same thing as President Trump. As they all fall in line and they showed up at the inauguration and they're standing there. I do keep thinking about those parents that begged him for help with the dangerous proven algorithms we have on all of these sites. It's not just Facebook and Instagram. It's Twitter, it's Snap, these messaging apps like Discord. I remember last year, Discord came up. It's a messaging app that kids were using and being approached on in untold numbers. And there was no kind of security on the Discord end. And we were calling them out to clean it up and to take action. Every single person I asked about Discord told me they didn't even know what Discord was. One person said to me, "Oh, yeah, it's for gaming." And this was an adult male about 50 years old. Okay, gaming. Gaming, everybody forgets, is where most boys and teen boys are approached because most of them are gaming, right? And this is why we have to know. You have to be present to, friends only, associates only with the kids on all of this. And there's a lot of help. You can get those Bark phones where you get an alert. You can get a Gab phone, GABB.com, where it's simply texting and phone calling. Looks like a regular phone so the kids don't feel left out. Because remember, I can't tell you when to buy your child a phone. You have parental autonomy. But there is something we promote called delay is the way. Why should a child before 8th grade even need a phone? But it's up to you. But if you're going to do it, make the commitment to have some guardrails, some safety around the devices. Because I'm tired of explaining you are giving your child the world. You are giving the predators your child. I know you don't want to do that. So please share this information with any family members, your community. Because remember, our hashtag is community creates change. We have to work in the communities, in the homes to get the information out there. Let's see. Sean says, the implementation of AI in all aspects of our lives needs to be an open and active, ongoing conversation. Yes, it needs to be very transparent. AI, we're working on a lot of things, but remember, it's always behind. It's like law enforcement is always 10 steps behind. It's not their fault. We are 10 steps behind because those predators are always figuring out the next one. I'm already thinking all day, if I may share with you before I let everybody go, like, okay, the cartels now are being shut down, but they don't give up business. How else are they going to prey upon us? Because they're not going to let go. And not that I shouldn't even be telling you that, but that's how my mind works, because I'm always on to the next thing, which is why I told you we must remain vigilant now for the next 4 years, because it's about 4 years from now, carrying on everything that is going on. But it's been a wonderful, wonderful week. I am so happy that the people in North Carolina are being recognized finally and being given some attention. I can't imagine. They've just been ignored. and the people in California. And we're not hearing enough talk about Altadena, which is by Pacific Palisades, which is more of a wealthier area, Pacific Palisades. But Altadena, a lot of middle class folks, a lot of people that really do, because I know a lot of them that live paycheck to paycheck. I was just speaking to a friend of mine yesterday and her friend there, and she was explaining, and their beautiful cottage house that she wanted to eventually retire and sell in 3 years and go to North Carolina, of all places. And she's telling me that it had burned to the ground and everything in it, and she's living paycheck to paycheck. So where is the help for people like that? Well, President Trump will get rid of this red tape and move it ahead. But there are a lot of people like that, the paycheck to paycheck. That was their home. That's where their money was. And now they have nothing to even sell. And somebody mentioned they're only given $43,000 or something for their property. You can't do anything with $43,000. And they ridiculous Biden, something about $770. Please, it's 2 visits to the supermarket these days. So I'm so happy that the people are being helped. But the children, their schools are burned down, they're displaced. We have to keep thinking it's about the children, right? Because I'm going to remind you, future adults, future leaders of our country. We have to put a lot of investment, and I mean emotional, I mean time, not always money, into the children right now. So this AI, I'm not convinced, seeing all those big tech people, but better to have them in our camp, so to speak, and control them, sort of, right? Control is not a good word, but having an eye on everything will get the work done. But remain vigilant. I'm going to keep saying that to everybody. MP, thank you for becoming a member. As far as TikTok, you know my feelings on it. They have everybody's information already. I don't like banning. It's about working with something, and you would have to, I don't want to just shut down TikTok. You'd have to shut down X, and you'd have to shut down Facebook and Instagram. They are all equally. Because remember, I know it's about national security, TikTok, but we've let it go for all these years. I don't understand. I actually said this in Washington. I don't understand. And I said it a while ago. Why can't somebody buy TikTok and make it like China? And I never say make anything like China, and have more educational materials. Why? Because that's supposed to be against freedom of speech? Or shutting it down. China, it's 40 minutes. Shutting it down after an hour a day. We have kids spending an average of 5 to 9 hours a day online. 5 to 9 hours. Unacceptable. And remember, no devices in the bedrooms. Kids need their rest at night. We don't need the predators when they're tired and vulnerable and they're swiping away, contacting them at nighttime. Things happen. So I'm saying shared devices, at the kitchen table, the dining table, lead by example, get the devices. People will say to me, what's one thing you recommend? I'm like, keep devices out of the bedrooms. So I leave you with that. Fred, thank you for being here. Mindy, thank you for being here. Let's see, Joseph, it's a foreign-based military intelligence software. It's amazing to me it's available. Okay. I don't know. All I know, everybody, I do know President Trump and the administration are going to take back America and have proven in the last few days like you've never seen before. And I'm excited and I'm hopeful, and you should be too. So think about what you can do in just your home or in your community to make it all a little bit better. And you don't have to do marching on Congress. You don't have to be forming a nonprofit. You just have to be aware of what is happening, share correct truths, information, talk to your kids, talk to each other, and don't forget, and to have a little fun, love one another. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Keep an eye on the AI. Keep an eye on, make sure if you're going to say something about the border, you have the correct facts. I don't want to hear what I started hearing tonight. about all of a sudden 75, 80, 85,000 kids are saved. Be very careful with that information. There's a lot going on. First order of business is ridding our country of these horrendous criminals that have invaded us. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for joining me. Good night, everybody.